Hey guys, Justin here with JKS Manufacturing down in my personal favorite spot, the R&D area. And we've got a 2007 JKU in here. This JK is pretty important to us. It actually belongs to our president, and he has been wanting something from us for a while. And I know that you guys have been wanting something for us for a while, so we're going to kill two birds with one stone. We're going to go through step by step and show you the JKS Manufacturing coilover conversion install on this Jeep. So this Jeep currently has a 3.5-inch J-spec system on it. It's got a fantastic Fox Adventure Series shock. It's got our coil spring. It's got all the goodies. The owner of this Jeep would like a little bit more tunability, you know, all that comes with a coilover conversion. So let's dig into this thing, get it all torn apart, broken down, and we'll kind of show you what it takes to put these coilovers on that Jeep. Alright, so far we've pulled the shocks off. Obviously we loosened up the brake line brackets to do that, loosened up the track bar out front here to gain the necessary room. Pulled the shocks off, dropped the springs out. We've installed our new 3-inch bump stop extensions, replacing the 2-inchers. And so now it's about time to do some cutting. So now's the part where we're going to start cutting on this Jeep. And the cuts we make need to be precise. This is an area where if you're not comfortable with this type of modification, we strongly recommend you going to a JKS installer. They're very well versed in this type of modification and understand this kit very well. So just that quick disclaimer, let's get ready to cut some metal. Alright, so we've gotten our shock tower out of the way, and we've done our trimming, and we actually hit this with a quick coat of paint just to keep rust at bay. Next step was to take a look at the area above the wheel well, behind the inner fender liner. All we need to do is trim back some of this plastic to make a little bit of clearance, and we'll just kind of show you what that looks like. So we're going to align our coilover bracket just kind of on that bolt there. It's about how it's going to set tight against the frame, and you can see we've got plenty of room up here to get our bolts in and out for our coilover, and then our support bracket as well. We're just going to weasel him in there. So everything is going to fall in perfectly, and just a mild amount of trimming for the amount of performance we're going to get. So we'll keep forging ahead until these things are on there. All right, so we've got everything out of the way. We can start getting ready to put on our coilover brackets and get all of our holes drilled. So first thing is we're going to take this top brace. I'm just going to set it in here. Now this is a really handy little drill guide, okay? And so what this does is we're going to place this right over the bump stop mount, and there's actually a hole back here in the coil bucket. You probably have a hard time seeing. It's right there, that little hole right there. It's a 1/2-inch bolt, drops through there. We're going to take this template with this notch out. We're going to set it through this hole and just loosely bolt this up. Okay, so at this point in your installation, you're probably getting excited. There's some brackets going on. You can start to see the awesome happen. Don't rush here. Take your time. Enjoy it. So we're going to take this main coilover bracket. What I need is to hold this. I'm going to take the first bolt through the back side there. One through here. Need one nut, one washer to hold that bracket for me. There we go. I'll grab these up. Just watch your brake lines and stuff as you're setting all this up in here. Want to make sure that all the trimming you did earlier kind of works. So the key is all these are just kind of loose here, so this can still move around pretty good. And then we're ready to start mocking up all the holes we need to drill. All right, so here we are. We got our bracket just loosely bolted on here. It's going to kind of show us where everything needs to go. As you can see here, we got 2 holes here. We'll just mark those to drill. We're going to get as center of the hole as possible. Handy little automatic punch here. All right, so the first hole we got to enlarge is where the factory brake line bracket used to go. We removed that U-tab out of there, and we just need to enlarge this hole a little bit. That'll get that out to 1/2 inch. Just make sure we'll take our 1/2 inch. Oh yeah. So now, we can tighten up this top bracket. Sweet. Fits perfectly. Now we got this crazy looking thing. You probably had no idea what it was when you pulled it out of the package. This guy is a sweet little OE style nut tab. This nice big hole in the frame back here. Snake him. And hopefully camera guy can see this because he's slick. Grab hold of him with these pliers because I got weak little fingers, I guess. As you can see on the back side, there he is. So we'll line our tab up with our first one there, and that'll kind of set the precedence for us. We're going to kind of center this in the hole like so, and now we can mark all of our holes on the drill template and on the bracket itself and get everything drilled. There, everything's marked. We can start drilling, or we can skip all that boring drilling part and come to the other side. So just like those cooking shows, we put it all in the pot and poof, it's cooked. So here it is. All of our holes drilled, our tab is in place, everything's lined up, all these fasteners are torqued down. So we are ready to move ahead to the next step, which I believe is going to be our lower mount. So we've got our upper mount on, everything's fastened, we've relocated our brake line just below the bracket here. We've got our lower mount on, all the trimming's been done, you know, bolts are in place, everything's ready to go. We're going to leave this brake line until we got the coilover on, because it'll suck up some of this droop a little bit. So the next part, we get to unbox the coilovers, which we're super excited about, so take a look. Now for me, this is one of my favorite parts of the install, open up this beautiful box of Fox coilovers. So we'll do the honors there. Oh, this is my favorite part. Look at how beautifully Fox packages these. You got a really nice product, and you know, it just guarantees no damage in shipping. You know, you spent good money on these things. We want them to look good, at least until you get them on the Jeep and start abusing things on the trail. So these coilovers are side specific. So we'll go through, get the correct side for the side that we're working on, and you know, get them installed. So here we go. You'll see that there's 2 misalignment spacers in here and a zip tie. We're going to nip that zip tie, and hopefully I can pull this out quick and easy and show you what we're working with. So you got your misalignment spacers just like any Heim joint. We're going to pull this one out and we'll show you what's inside here is it's a nice O-ring. Doesn't want to come out. So there's an O-ring inside of there. Then there's your misalignment spacer. Obviously this O-ring needs to be in there, keeps dirt and debris from getting inside and messing up that joint. But what you will see when you put the coilover in the bracket is that you got to compress that O-ring a little bit to get it into the bracket. We've designed it that way on purpose, but it does need to compress a little bit when we're putting this together. So we'll get into that. All right, so this might be a bit shade tree, but it's a way I've found to really help get these in and out. I'm going to take a set of needle nose vice grips and gently, leaving as much as I can, I'm going to compress hopefully the camera shows it, but I'm compressing the O-ring with a vice grip, and now that's going to hold that on there so I can get it started on the Jeep and then pop the vice grips loose and finish putting it in the Jeep. So we're going to put this coilover behind the brake line. That's important. We don't want to have to redo that once we get it hung in here. So there it is. It's started into the bracket. So what I'm going to do is pop my vice grips. I'm going to just toss them on the floor is what I'm going to do right now. And hope I've done a good job, which I have. There. Now the bracket's holding the coilover up for us. We can wrestle with all the other portions, but that was the most difficult part for a one-guy install. So let's move on. So we've got our coilover installed, hardware tightened. Time to button up some of the details. One of those details is going to be this brake line. We want to keep this out of the way of the coilover and suspension components, but also have enough slack in it to turn the tire, things like that. So it's fully drooped out right now, so you can see there's plenty of slack here, things like that. So we're going to put this cushion clamp on the brake line itself. You can see this cushion clamp here. And then the wheel speed sensor is actually attached to this bracket, so we're good there. So we're just going to set the cushion clamp on there. And because I don't have the world's strongest fingers, we're going to squish that down just a bit. There. And then we can take our 1/4-20 bolt and attach that guy. So we've got our coilover installed, we've got our brake line bracket installed, we've also got our reservoir clamped on here. So what we do here is we clamp this to the coilover body, tuck it up out of the way. Want to make room to have room for our DSC adjuster. We're going to leave this one just the way it come from the factory. We specified where we wanted that as a starting point. We'll let the owner of this Jeep fine tune it to his style. Same with the preload and the crossover. All that stuff we'll leave just the way we designed it and let that owner do the final, tuning of the coilover, which is the biggest benefit of the coilover. So from here, we'll get everything buttoned back up. We're not changing the ride height, so we can just bolt the track bar up, and shouldn't even need an alignment. We'll check everything, of course, but shouldn't need an alignment. Everything's going back to the same ride height, just with the coilover. So take a look. We'll show you the finished product. So there you go, front coilover conversion, bolt in on a Jeep JK using 2.5-inch diameter, 10-inch travel Fox DSC adjustable coilovers. Rides fantastic, a great improvement for this JKU. So thank you very much for taking a look at it, and as always, follow along JKS Manufacturing social media pages. That's going to be our Facebook, our Instagram, and our YouTube to stay up with the latest and greatest of what we're doing here at JKS Manufacturing.